The NFL draft is a time of hope and promise, where dreams are made of. But not every first-round pick becomes a superstar. Some thrive under the pressure, while others never live up to the hype. So here are the 10 biggest busts in NFL history. Number 10.
The Cleveland Browns select Justin Gilbert, defensive back, Oklahoma State.
Johnny Manziel might be the bust that most fans remember when it comes to the Browns' 2014 draft, but the pick of Justin Gilbert was arguably worse. The Browns went into the draft with the 4th overall pick, then traded down to number 9, followed by another deal that eventually left them with the 8th overall pick. And after all that, the Browns drafted Justin Gilbert, played in only 23 games for them over 2 years. Just before the 2016 season, the Browns traded him away to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's be honest here, nothing says we totally given up on you quite like trading a player to a division rival. And after 3 years, he was already out the league. Number 9. Justin Blackmon. The Jaguars went into the 2012 draft with the 7th overall pick, but moved up to number 5 after making a trade with Tampa. And at this point, we can probably all agree that the Buccaneers won this trade. Although Blackmon had an impressive rookie season in 2012, with 64 receptions and 865 yards, his career was derailed by multiple suspensions. After his rookie year, Blackmon only played in 4 games in 2013 and hasn't played since. Justin had all the talent in the world, but he couldn't stay out of trouble. Number 8.
With the 3rd pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Trent Richardson, running back, Alabama.
Richardson was in the spotlight in college as a star running back for an Alabama team that couldn't be stopped. His bruising running style was supposed to translate to the next level, so the Browns took him 3rd overall in the 2012 draft. Of course, being drafted by the Cleveland Browns around this time was a death sentence. The team drafted bust after bust in the 2000s and the 2010s. Richardson is the biggest bust of all of them, because everyone assumed that he would be an NFL star. Instead, Richardson didn't even last 2 seasons in Cleveland before the Browns traded him. His career was over after 3 seasons. The Browns were able to recoup a first-round pick in the Richardson trade, which really makes his bust status a double whammy, because his failure also affected the Indianapolis Colts, the team that traded for him. Number 7. Heath Shuler. The Washington Redskins took Heath Shuler 3rd overall in the 1994 NFL Draft to fill their void at the quarterback position, but he wasn't the signal caller that earned Washington starting gig long term. Despite being a finalist for the Heisman Trophy, the Tennessee quarterback was a complete flop in the NFL. Shuler struggled after being named a starter for the Redskins, and the 5-interception game against Arizona proved the writing on the wall. He played just 8 games for the Redskins over the next 2 years, before being replaced by 7th-round pick Gus Ferret. Ferret was Washington's 7th-round pick in the 1994 draft, which showed how much a bust Shuler truly was. Shuler only started 22 games total, and he had 33 interceptions and 15 touchdown passes for his career. Number 5.
The San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State.
The red flags were prevalent for Lance as a prospect. He only started 17 games at an FCS school, albeit the best FCS school in the nation in North Dakota State. But the San Francisco 49ers gambled on his raw traits, despite his lack of experience. The Niners owned the 3rd pick in the 2021 draft, and it took Lance over other quarterbacks, including Matt Jones and Justin Fields. The entire 2021 quarterback class was highly anticipated, but has completely flopped, except Trevor Lawrence, although he hasn't lived up to the hype yet. Lance has been by far the worst of the bunch though. The quarterback was unable to win the starting job as a rookie. He sat behind Jimmy Garoppolo and only started 2 games, with the 49ers predominantly using Lance in a wildcat role. San Francisco was ready to try Lance out as a starting quarterback in year 2, but he suffered a season-ending injury after only 2 games. In year 3, former Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold surpassed Lance on the depth chart. The Niners decided to cut their losses and traded Lance to the Dallas Cowboys, where he's done absolutely nothing. Number 4. Keyjana Carter. Keyjana Carter is probably the worst non-quarterback ever to be taken 1st overall. Carter's collegiate career at Penn State was impressive enough that the Bengals traded up to the number 1 pick. He ended up being the first running back taken at the top of the draft. Carter's career was slowed down before he even got started. He was hurt during the preseason of his rookie year, and injuries would limit him for the rest of his career. He made several comeback attempts, but he never had more than 464 yards in a season. In his drawn-out 7-year career, He ended with 1,144 total rushing yards. Number 3, Charles Rogers. The Lions took a receiver in the first round of 3 straight drafts, and the 4th over 5 years. Charles Rogers was the first of the pass catchers selected during that stretch, and his failure was a big reason the team continued to address the position. Rogers was a massive flop. He only lasted 3 seasons in the league with 9 starts, 36 receptions, and 440 yards to his name. He wasn't that impressive on the field. Recurring injuries and 2005 suspension for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy ultimately ended Rogers' career not too long after it began. The Lions planned on taking a receiver in the first round in 2003, but they chose the wrong one. The very next pick was Andre Johnson, who put together a Hall of Fame career. Number 2, Ryan Leaf. The first pick in the 1998 NFL draft was Peyton Manning, a player who had become one of the best NFL players ever. Ryan Leaf was the quarterback in the running with Manning to go first overall, and the Colts most definitely got that pick correct. Leaf and Manning will forever be connected, and Leaf's career went the exact opposite direction of Manning's. The Washington State product cared more about partying and off-the-field stuff than he did about becoming an NFL player. Leaf made many questionable decisions and spent plenty of time in trouble with the law. His on-the-field product was just as bad though. He only threw for 3,600 yards and 14 touchdowns during his career. Many consider him to be the biggest bust draft ever, but he takes second place on this list because he was drafted second overall. But the next guy on this list was the number 1 overall pick. Number 1,
The Oakland Raiders select quarterback JaMarcus Russell, LSU.
JaMarcus Russell is the biggest draft bust in NFL history, and it was all on his own doing. He was the first overall pick in the 2007 draft, but he had a poor work ethic and no drive to be great. Russell was given blank game tapes for watching film, but he never realized they were blank because he never turned them on. He also ballooned up to nearly 300 pounds before his 3rd year in the league. To make matters worse for the Raiders, his selection came before the rookie pay scale was created. The Raiders gave Russell every chance to thrive, but he just didn't have it in him and was out of the league after year 3. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing.